I don't even understand the DV charge. I've never understood the DV charge. I don't think you're going to hear one piece of evidence to support that charge.
Well, when it came for authorization for the magistrate, there's no probable cause as to.
I felt that way from day one, so I didn't know that.
That was not reflected in our notes, so I was not aware of that, but I appreciate the court letting me know that the people would be willing, the people are still able to proceed on the complaint as it was found by the magistrate.
Okay. It's just the one count of the stalking. Court does call the case, People versus Michael Clark.
Morning, Your Honor. Raymond Cook for the people.
Your Honor, Joe Simon on behalf of Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, state your name. That's Michael for future here.
My name is Michael Clark.
Thank you. And I appreciate you bending down for the microphone, but they're very sensitive, so they didn't pick you up. All right. It's okay. No, I understand why you did that. Okay, this date time set for trial. Ready?
We're ready to proceed. We do have a preliminary matter that the court probably is likely going to guess what it is, but address that at the right time.
We have.
I'm not guessing anything, but go ahead.
We've mutually sequestered our own witnesses.
Oh, sorry.
And asked formally that get ordered, but we've already done it.
And that was my request also, Your Honor.
All right. Witnesses are hereby ordered sequestered, and you have done so. All right. Opening statements.
Thank you. Would the court prefer that I speak from the table or from the bench? Or
Either is fine.
both podium? Your Honor, I'm sure the court is aware of the charges today of stalking, domestic relations, as well as domestic violence, as well as the elements of those and what the people need to prove. As just a brief opening, the testimony that I expect the court to hear today, I plan on calling 2 lay witnesses, as well as potentially 2 police officers. Specifically, I plan on calling the victim, in this case, Peyton Trelfa, as well as another individual by the name of Angel Lewis. The testimony and the evidence that I expect the court to hear will be that the defendant and Miss Trelfa were in a dating relationship for a relatively short amount of time, and that Peyton wanted to end that relationship and told the defendant in no uncertain terms multiple times that she did not want to talk to him anymore and that she hoped he would respect that and do the same. Nonetheless, the defendant continued to message Miss Trelfa, continued to message Peyton, and would leave coffee or left coffee for her in her workplace locker and approached her at work. And that during one of these incidents of unconsented contact, the defendant chased after the victim, causing her to be afraid of what he might do to her. And is that chase that would form the basis for count 2, the domestic violence. I would ask, after the court hears all the testimony, considers all the evidence in this case, the court would find a verdict of guilty.
Yeah, Mr. Simon.
Your Honor, some of these facts are not going to be contested. Some of the proofs are going to be pretty consistent, but there's going to be a general theme we think that the evidence will lead you to of a highly embellished presentation of allegations. This goes from the stalking charge to the DV as well. One of the things that you're going to hear, Your Honor, is when Mr. Cook said there was a relatively short dating relationship. That actually isn't true. This dating relationship lasted months. We're going to have evidence to establish that. And yet, when reported to the police, Ms. Trelfa told them that it was less than 1 month. And it was trying to, we believe the evidence will show, characterize the relationship as something different than it was to push forward this allegation. Interestingly, you're going to hear that she didn't even report the matter to the police, and we're going to argue that nothing here amounted to criminal behavior. She reported it to HR, and HR advised her, you'll hear, to call the police and make a report. When the police came, she told them things that were not so. The duration of the relationship being much shorter, that my client did creepy things even before they started dating, that he sort of in a creepy and stealthy way manipulated the work schedule so that they could be on the same shift. That was absolutely what she said. The implication was my words of sneaky and stealthy, but she used the word creepy. We're going to present evidence that's exactly false, that my client didn't do that. Ms. Trelfa did it. Ms. Trelfa switched the schedules. She told the police two things about that. She said, number one, he did that. And number two, he did that before we started dating. And number three, I think I said two things. Number three, she couldn't do it. She didn't have the status, as she described herself, as a D-lister. Well, we're going to refute all three things. She made the switch. She had the ability to do it by using friendships. And lastly, they were dating at the time. In addition, she told the police, he kept sending me gifts after we broke up. You'll hear evidence that my client ordered gifts shortly before Valentine's Day while they were dating, and that he had ordered them and told her, they're coming, just don't throw them away. He didn't continually order her anything. Your Honor, this breakup occurred on February 5th. The last contact from my client to Ms. Trelfa was February 12th. That's 1 week, but I'm going to now go backward and then forward. I'll go backward, middle, then forward. Here's what you're going to hear. They had a very good and strong relationship right up until February 4th. On February 4th, when nobody really knows how it happened, my client's ex, I don't want to say girlfriend because she wasn't much of a friend, his ex, mother of his children, somehow got Ms. Trelfa's contact. And she said, to interfere with their relationship, he's been cheating on you. He slept with me last month. This was false.
Right out of the gate, the defense is laying out a very different story than the prosecution's opening. Their claim, this whole thing started with a lie. Michael's ex allegedly told Peyton he'd been cheating, and the defense says that was completely false. Like, if that's true, everything that follows didn't start with stalking behavior. It started with broken trust built on someone else's lie, and that changes how you read every text message that comes after.
False, and we'll establish that it was false. And that caused Ms. Trelfa very big trust concerns, as you may imagine. She expressed that. They had several phone calls, FaceTimes after their work shift, and she left it with, you know what, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm out. You know how important trust was to me, and that's it. She also left him with another message, and this is a key. On February 5th, you can fight for this, but I won't. You can continue to fight for this, but I won't. Now, she also asked for some space. The uncontested evidence was my client did exactly that. Gave her some space. Didn't have any contact with her until February 7. On February 7, they had gotten off work at pretty much the same time. My client's shift was extended by 30 minutes. I think Ms. Trelfa will characterize that as he waited for her. But we challenged that. We're going to hear evidence that they got off at the same time. He saw her in the parking lot. He walked to her car, not ran. And the court may remember, we don't have video evidence of that parking lot, even though it existed. The court may remember that I'd requested that and it was recycled, etc. And so we don't have that. But what you'll hear is he knocked on her window. Can we talk? She got out of the car. They had a pleasant conversation. It ended with her not changing her position. He follows that up with a text message. These are the exhibits you're going to get. And the text message was, I'm sorry, I'm trying to respect your space. This is just so hard. I'm doing what you're asking. In that text series, we're going to ask you to focus on one thing. You said I could try and you wouldn't. She said, when I said that you could try and I wouldn't, that meant I'm not trying to reconcile this. And no matter what you do from now, there will be no second chances. He said, and she ended that with, that's all I have to say, leave me alone. And he said, well, I didn't understand that's what you meant by you could try. That will be an exhibit you'll receive. After that, he didn't talk to her or do anything until February 10. A lone text message. Have a nice day. I miss you. Good morning. Have a nice day. I miss you. That's February 10. The entirety of the case will be from that text message, have a nice day, I miss you, to the next day, which is February 11. On February 11, they were at work at the same time. This is where the facts will really be disputed. Ms. Trelfa will say that my client approached her, that she repeatedly told him she didn't want to talk to him, and that he chased her down, chased her into the parking lot, that he chased after her and to the point that it caused her to feel unsafe. She notified a supervisor, and the supervisor, she documented with the supervisor. Here's what you'll hear on the other side, Your Honor. Number one, you'll hear that my client never chased her, only tried to approach her for really two reasons. Number one, an epilogue on a text exchange of, when am I going to get my stuff? That happened on February 7th. A misunderstanding of her 30-minute time window from when he could pick up his stuff from her residence. He thought, are you leaving it on the lawn? I may not be able to get there in time. He lives in Hillsdale and she lived locally. And he was worried about the time frame. They showed each other their messages. No, look, this is what you said. And then what you'll hear is that she walked away. He walked after her. She went to her ambulance rig to start her shift. He followed her out there, wanting to continue the conversation. She didn't want to. She drove her rig back to the port. He walked back up to her, not ran, walked, and handed her something she dropped, a device for her shift. Held it up to the door. She opened the door. She grabbed it. That was it. There was no more contact between them. Supervisor contacted my client, said the same supervisor that Ms. Trelfa contacted said, hey, listen, Michael, it's your best interest to just let this go. No more contact, no more thing at work. And he said, okay. And he said, I'm going to sit here in my car until she goes away, and then I'll leave and I'll be fine. He abided that advice. It was not an order, but it was advice. The only thing he said was, but wait a minute, we have an arrangement to get my stuff the next day on February 12th. He said, that's fine. There was a brief exchange in text on the 12th that she replied to as well about the stuff. Where's my key? It's in your locker, that kind of thing. That's it. Oh, I forgot, Your Honor. February 11, my client did put a coffee and say, have a nice day, or words to that effect, in her locker. And the thing about that is they put things in their lockers all the time. She put stuff in his locker as a gift. He would put stuff in there too, but maybe that was not wanted. But that's it, Your Honor. February 10, the loan text and the events of February 11. Now on February 11, I have spent so much time trying to get video, and I showed Mr. Cook today. I don't think I can authenticate this and admit it as an exhibit. I finally got from a Honigman lawyer representing HVA last night. I can show date stamps and time stamps, some video that of February 11th. The other incident is gone, long gone. I showed it to Mr. Cook, and it has gaps. It's a weird system. It leaps forward 30 seconds every now and then. I'm going to be using that video to refresh witnesses' recollections because I don't have a witness to authenticate it as an exhibit. In lieu of bringing a witness here, they said, here's your video, kind of thing, in response to my subpoena. But then, Your Honor, there was one more contact. Not to my client, to her. She went on a vacation. That's why he ordered the Valentine's gifts ahead of time. He knew she was going on a vacation, and she was with a mutual friend on the vacation. He contacted the mutual friend. He said, can I talk to you? What's up? And why did he do that? He got the smoking gun. He got the evidence that showed his ex lied about everything. Do you think Peyton would want this? I'm condensing. The exchange is longer. And she responded basically, no, she wouldn't want it. We already know. That knocked him off his socks. He was in disbelief. How could that be? And then Peyton got on. Peyton took the phone and said, hey, this is me. I already know you're all a bunch of lunatics. F off. With that, he knew that even by clearing his good name, if you will, and by getting the truth out there, there was no reason to ever communicate with her again. And he didn't, and he never even tried. She came back from vacation. She had the meeting with HR that was scheduled before she went on vacation. They said, make a police report. The police came out and she told the police a very different story as I've outlined. The police left that day, you'll hear, with an admonition to each of them. Now, she's not a party to the case, so they can't make orders, but it was advice. Don't contact each other. My client abided. But you'll hear evidence that she called my client that very night. That very night, the day she reported, which is February 22nd, 2026, about 5 hours after the report, she called him. He let it ring through. He wasn't on a bond condition, but if he had been on a bond condition, what would Your Honor have instructed a defendant? Don't even answer the phone. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't answer it. It rang multiple times. Was his heart aflutter? Yeah. Did he probably want to answer it? Yeah, but he didn't. No voicemail was left, but we'll provide evidence of the call. That was told to the police, by the way. No epilogue investigation on that. There was one more contact, Your Honor. And I think that I'm offering this to show Ms. Trelfa's state of mind, because one of the key elements here is, did she feel actual harassment? That call, I think, is going to be excellent evidence of why that isn't so. But another thing happened in April of this year, where either Ms. Trelfa directly or Ms. Trelfa's roommate at her direction did something to my client's locker to harass him at work. And there's such specificity with what they did to the locker that the information that was there could only have come from Ms. Trelfa. It was populated with the case number, and such a specific case number, including the case codes, the SM at the end. It was populated with the next court date for pretrial, April 20th. It was populated with the date of the complaint. It was populated with such information that only one real person really could have. Oh, well, I mean, there are public records, but the inference will be very strong, beyond reasonable doubt. We say, even though we don't have that burden, that was at her direction or she did that directly. Again, that's April 8th of 2026. This all goes to the state of mind that we asked the court to consider. This is not anything other, we'll argue, than a sudden shift, an end of a relationship that put somebody into a funk and a broken heart, who wanted to salvage his good name in his relationship, the person that he loved, for a short period of time, that never achieved criminal behavior. And Ms. Trelfa's own actions demonstrate that that's not how she earnestly felt about it either. Something funny happened when she talked to the police. She tried to slant it in a very different way, and then she became very invested as a victim. And that's why she did what she did in April of 2026. The good news is I think we're going to have enough evidence to support our theories, Your Honor, and that's why we will eventually. Oh, I should ask, I haven't even addressed the DV. Now, I don't even understand the DV charge. I've never understood the DV charge. I don't think you're going to hear one piece of evidence to support that charge.
Notice what just happened here before a single witness even testified. The domestic violence charge quietly disappeared. The judge points out there was never probable cause for it in the first place. That's worth remembering as this case moves forward. One of the two original charges didn't survive the very first few minutes of trial.
And I don't mean to interrupt.
I was done.
Okay. That's shocking. Oh, I'm kidding. Is it your understanding that there's a domestic violence charge?
Yes, Your Honor. I see 2 counts on the complaint. Count 1 being stalking, domestic relationship, and count 2 being domestic violence.
I have, when obviously this would be unclear to me when it came for authorization for the magistrate, there's no probable cause as to count.
I felt that way from day one, so I didn't know that.
That was not reflected in our notes, so I was not aware of that, but I appreciate the court letting me know that the people would be willing, the people are still able to proceed on the complaint as it was found by the magistrate.
Okay. It's just the one count of the stalking.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. And I didn't say formally for the record. That was the conclusion of my formal remarks, and we'll be asking the court to find a verdict. Thank you.
Can you call your first witness?
We'll call Peyton Trolpa.
Please come forward and be sworn.
Sound swear from the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth. Thanks, sorry.
Trolpa, T-I-T-O-N, last name T-R-E,
All right, you may inquire.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing? I'm going to be asking you a few questions here, and just as some background, do you know an individual by the name of Michael Clark? How do you know that individual? What relationship did you and that individual have?
It was just a refreshing, and then
When you say you had a relationship for about a month, what sort of relationship were you talking about? Do you know roughly when that relationship began? And when did that relationship end? And this individual, Michael Clark, do you see him in the courtroom today? Can you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing? Mr. Simons, I believe, is blue. So if the record may reflect that those witnesses identified the defendant.
That objection record still so reflect.
No.
Peyton, how would you describe the breakup in the romantic relationship between you and the defendant?
while we were together, initially things were normal in a normal relationship. We had been arguing a lot throughout the relationship, and it had ended over text.
Who ended the relationship? Why did you end that relationship?
I had been reached out to and was told that he was cheating on me. So
What day did you end the relationship? Do you remember? When you ended the relationship, was that the end of the contact between you and the defendant? How did that contact continue?
mainly over text. And then the text messages that I had out once I had.
Do you remember what day you blocked the defendant?
Either it was the 12th for a little bit for that, wherever the text messages had stopped pretty much.
Showing defense counsel with the Marcus Peoples proposed exhibit 1. I showed this to defense counsel earlier today as well. May I approach the witness?
Right.
I'm handing you a copy of what's been marked as Peoples proposed exhibit 1. For the record, that is a 17-page document. Can you please look through that document and let me know if you recognize what it is?
Yes, I do.
What is this document or these documents?
This is conversation between Morgan and I. Around like the last.
Looking on page 1, does this document indicate when these text messages are from? When?
The first one is
And flipping through, are you able to see what date other text messages are sent? And specifically going to the last page, what does the last text message give or indicate as far as the date that that's sent?
February 12th.
And have you reviewed these texts prior to testifying today? Are the texts contained within this document the full dialogue between yourself and the defendant's text messages between February 5th and February 12th? Your Honor, I move to admit what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 1.
Any objection or water?
No.
Okay, exhibit 1 is admitted.
May I approach to publish to the court?
Yes, you may.
Ma'am, looking at the text messages, there are some text messages that are in blue and some that are back with gray. Which text messages are the ones that you sent? All right. And so starting with page 1, that long blue message, just for clarity, you sent that one?
Yes.
All right. Looking at these text messages, how many times did you tell the defendant that you did not want to talk to him?
Throughout the text messages, there's a lot of different times that I had explained that I did not want to talk to anyone. I think that's 4 times.
Did the defendant abide by that request not to talk to you anymore? How did it make you feel when the defendant continued to text you after you told him not to?
I continuously asked him to leave me alone. I felt that obviously that request was not, accepted. It made me feel very
What about it made you scared?
When I had to not talk to anyone, I felt like I would never get that piece of being able to be with her in the situation.
What about the 11th specifically made you scared?
When he followed me out into the parking lot,
Where do you work? Is that at 1200 State Circle? Is that here in Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County, state of Michigan? You said something happened that day. Were you working that day?
Yes.
What shift were you working?
yeah,
Was the defendant working that day? What shift was he working? Do you know? What happened at work that made you concerned?
I was in our lease department and he had attempted to come up to me and talk to me. And I said like multiple times that I did not want to talk to him. I wanted to be left alone. And I had texted my supervisor and asked him what I should do, as I had been reporting to my supervisor about everything that was happening. Because there was already HR level, so I was just making sure they knew everything that was going on. And I had left out the back door of resupply after I had texted my supervisor.
I want to focus on what happened in that resupply room. You said the defendant tried to talk to you. Do you know what the defendant was trying to talk to you about?
He wanted to talk about the breakup, and he just wanted to talk.
Do you remember specifically what the defendant said? Was there anyone else in the resupply room with you? Who?
Ali and one other person that I don't remember his name, but he
By the company, which company is that?
This is the moment the whole case turns on all workplace room, a few feet of distance and two very different interpretations of what happened. She says she felt trapped and scared. The distance she describes is about a yard. Whether that's harassment or just an awkward, unwanted conversation is exactly the kind of judgment call this trial comes down to.
When the defendant approached you in that resupply room, how close did he get?
I'd say it was about like it was very close.
And just for the record, you're pointing sort of at the armrest in the witness box, so that maybe like a yard. Would you say that's a fair approximation?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that make you feel when the defendant approached you in the resupply room?
I was extremely anxious and quite nervous. I did not want contact with him.
Was that the end of your contact with the defendant on the 11th? What happened next?
I had walked out the back doors of our resupply room and I went to go get my ambulance ready for my shift. And he had followed me out into the parking lot to my ambulance.
What happened in the parking lot?
I had gotten into my ambulance. I had dropped my AT, which is a machine that we use at work. Dropped that outside of my ambulance as I was attempting to get in it away from him. And he had picked it up, came up to me, up to the ambulance. I took it from him and then I drove into our ambulance.
When you say the defendant came up to you, how quickly was the defendant moving? Was it a walk, a run?
It was to me in the moment, it seemed like a speed walk kind of towards me.
And you said you drove your ambulance to a different location. Where was that location?
It was from where it was parked. I just pulled it out and up into our garage bay, which wasn't too far away, but not like a exact.
Was that the last time you had contact with the defendant on the 11th?
That
What happened after you moved your ambulance? What did you do then?
I pulled it into our garage bay. I was outside of the garage bay. I walked back inside and I went to the back of resupply where Julia Kelly. And I had asked her to come outside with me because Clark had been following me. They followed me out to the parking lot. And then I asked her to come help me pull my truck in the garage so I wouldn't be alone.
Did you tell anyone else about what happened in the parking lot?
Angel Lucas was there as well.
And why did you feel like you had to get someone to come out with you to move your truck?
I had continuously that day and prior to that day and asked Clark to leave me alone and to stop contacting me and to not come up to me and talk to me. And he did not respect that. And he had followed me out to the parking lot and made me fear.
Fear for him or for something else?
For my safety.
At any point on the 11th, did you ever find anything in your locker?
Yes, there was coffee in my locker.
Before I go on, I need something clarified. You said feared for your safety. Was there anything prior to that point that the defendant had done where you felt it was a threat to your safety?
Other than him continuously contacting me and
Right. I get the contact. You made a specific statement about a threat to your state. And so I'm trying to figure out what you mean by it.
when he had followed me out into the parking lot, but I had to not talk to me anymore. And then he followed me out, and I wanted to be.
Right. But I guess the way that it was said, I just want to make sure I have context to it. Was there a fear on your part that he was going to do something?
Yes.
What?
I don't know. I was fearful for my safety. I didn't know if he would do anything. I didn't know if he.
Had there been anything in the past that would be indicative of him where one might perceive that there's a threat? That he had done something in the past that, no? It was just your belief that he was going to do something? Okay, go ahead.
For some additional context, when you're out in the parking lot going to your ambulance, what time of day is it?
I was at nighttime. It was around 11-ish at night.
Was there anyone else around at the time?
Outside, Angel had been in the parking lot. I don't know if she did anything. I don't know what she specifically witnessed, but I know that she was out in the parking lot, in our separate parking lot.
Okay. When you were walking to your ambulance, were you walking with like a partner or were you on your own?
So,
Going back to the coffee that you referenced, I believe you said that you found some coffee in your locker. Do you remember that testimony correctly? Did you ever photograph that coffee?
I believe I did, and I believe I have that.
From defense counsel Marcus Peoples proposed exhibit 2. May I approach the witness?
Right.
I don't object to it.
All right, exhibit 2 is admitted.
And I'm still going to hand you what's Mark's his people's.
What's in that picture?
The coffee card I left in my locker with the note.
And you have an extra copy. May I publish to the court?
Me.
How did it make you feel that call?
It made me feel honestly diminished at that point. I felt very like kind of overwhelmed with the situation.
Was that, do you know, let me see if I can phrase this question here. How often do you go into your locker at work?
Every time ever, at least once a day.
Do you know when that coffee was placed in your locker?
It would have probably been around around 5:24 on the 11th.
And do you know who put that coffee in your locker?
It
How do you know that?
sent a message to me and said that there was coffee in my locker.
With a woman named Julia in the resupply room. You ever reach out to your
Said
supervisor?
yes. Okay, good.
You ever reach out to your supervisor about anything that happened between you?
That day, yes.
And who is your supervisor? What did you tell your supervisor?
I had explained to him that work was in resupply and he was not leaving me alone. I was unsure what to do because I was scared.
Showing defense counsel with Marcus Peoples proposing exhibit 3.
No objection to it, Commissioner.
Exhibit 3 is admitted.
And approach the witness.
Me.
And I'm going to copy for the court. That's
Yeah.
And just for clarity, what is this document I put in front of you?
This is the conversation between my supervisor and I.
And when are your text messages the one in blue again?
Yes.
When you say I'm in I believe at the top there it says, quote, I'm in resupply and Michael won't leave me alone. Is that referring to the February 11th incident? In here, you text, quote, "I'm shaking and he won't leave me alone." Was that true? Were you shaking at the time? Why were you shaking?
I was nervous because I did not want to talk to him and he would leave me alone.
After the 11th, did you and the defendant have any contact?
Person,
What about over text?
other than what was the well, he had contacted me and if I had this.
And then going back to People's Exhibit 1, the final page there, it looks like at the end you blocked the defendant. Is that true? Did you report this incident to police that day on the 11th? When did you report this incident? To the police, I should say.
I don't remember specifically what day it was, but I believe it was the day after I had gotten back from them.
Would looking at the police report refresh your recollection as to when you reported this?
She blocked him on February 12th and didn't go to police until February 22nd, 11 days later. Her explanation is a pre-planned vacation. That gap matters here because the longer the delay between an incident and a report, the more a defense attorney is going to lean into questions about how urgent the fear really was.
I may approach the witness, Your Honor.
For the record, I'm just showing you the cover page of Pittsfield Township Police Report 26, 931. If you could just take a look at this and let me know when you're done reading. That refresh your recollection?
Yes,
What day did you report this to police?
it'd be February 22nd.
So that would be 11 days after this incident occurred on the 11th. Why'd you wait so long to report it?
I was on a pre-planned vacation. And I I had informed my supervision and my work of this incident. Obviously that day I had told my supervisor, and since I was on my vacation, I wanted to see if he would stop contacting me, which he's not. And that's when it went further, and I put an HR complaint at our job. And
When was that?
I believe it was the 11th or the 12th, or no, the 11th or the 12th that I had, when I told my supervisor about it, we had put in an HR complaint about the situation before I had left.
So at some point over this vacation, the defendant tried to reach out to you. When did that happen?
Well, I don't,
Sustained.
thank you.
That's not, rephrase.
What happened, if anything, between yourself and the defendant while you were on vacation?
He had contacted my friend that I was on vacation with.
How do you know the defendant contacted your friend while you were on vacation?
My friend had shown me the messages.
Do you remember what those messages were?
He was attempting to reach back out and make contact.
That, I wasn't going to object to hearsay until I got an answer that is it accurate. So object hearsay.
Sustained.
Did you ever reach out to the defendant while you were on vacation? Since the final text message,
Sorry, I just want to make sure I heard that.
Did you ever try to reach out to the defendant while they were on vacation? She said no.
Thank you.
since the message saying it's in your locker on February 12th on the last page of People's One, have you reached out or made contact with the defendant? If I can have just 1 second, please, Your Honor.
Well, you do that. How long was your vacation?
He's
Starting on the 12th?
starting on the 14th.
Then I'm a bit confused. That you the testimony that I'm hearing was the contact that occurred on the 12th became I think the prosecutor asked you, why didn't you contact the police until, why did you wait until the 22nd to contact the police?
I had left on vacation and I honestly did not want to, I didn't want anything to do with the situation through all the contacts and the messages and everything. I obviously wanted to be left alone. And
Well, I'm hearing you. Yes, I get it. But your response to the prosecutor was you didn't contact the police until the 22nd because you left on vacation.
Yeah.
But so that we're clear, the last contact, at least that I'm hearing here, would have been in February 12th, which 2026, which is a Thursday. Then there's the 13th, which is a Friday afterwards. And then you said your vacation started on the 14th. And now at least I'm hearing that there's a different reason why you didn't, after the 12th, contact the police.
I just hadn't contacted them to like vacation, and then I did not want, I wanted to be left alone. I had contacted them once I had a HR report in at work, once I had gotten back from my vacation. They asked me to put a police report in.
Who advised you?
Our HR coordinator.
I just want to try to get this timeline correct. On the 12th, you said there was contact with HR on the 12th. What then happened on the 13th?
I had left for vacation. So I contacted HR on the 12th about the incident. They did not reach back out to me until I had gotten back.
What day did your vacation start? The 13th or the 14th? Okay, so what happened on the 13th is what I'm trying to get at.
No.
So HR didn't reach back out to you. You did not reach out to the police department. So nothing happened on the 13th. From the 14th through, you said it was 8 days, so the 14th through the 21st, I'm presuming. Was there contact from the defendant to you?
Not me.
In either direction. You didn't contact him, he didn't contact you. On the 22nd, prior to contacting the Pittsfield police, what happened that led that to occur?
To me to contact the police.
Yes.
I had spoken with HR and I had put in an HR report.
Didn't the maybe it's terminology. Didn't the HR report occur prior to?
Yes, so I put in a report on the 12th. They did not reach out until the 22nd, so they could get my statement. So they could go forward.
Go ahead.
I actually have no further questions. Let's ask this.
Cross-examination.
Can I start sort of there at the end, ma'am, and then we'll go back to the beginning just to try to keep it somewhat. By the way, how would you like me to address you? Would you like me to call you by your first name, last name? Okay, thank you. And you can call me if you need to, Joe. Peyton, on the 22nd of the February, that's the day you met with HR and they said you should call police. Is that right? When you met with the police, you were asked, by the way, if you reviewed the exhibits. Did you review the video interview you had with the police before testifying by any chance? Okay, see if this refreshes your recollection. If it doesn't, maybe I can use it if you need it. You told the police, hey, I just met with HR. They told me to contact you. Is that true? And that's why you called the police.
Yes.
Yes. Well, and on that day, you met with them, and did you tell them specifically, the HR report has been done on their side, and they just wanted me to make an actual police report with all this personal stuff that's going on? Is that what you told them? You didn't tell them any other reason for contacting them, did you? All right. The other thing I want to ask you about at the end, you met with them, the police, on February 22nd, and the judge asked you about any further contact you may have had in either direction. I'm sorry, the mm-hms are yes or no. That's okay. We're not trying to pick on you. It's just the record needs to reflect what you're saying. That's too ambiguous. You called Mr. Clark that night, didn't you? About 10:30 at night?
I did not. What?
Your phone contacted his phone.
Only for problem.
So if there is a record of a phone call that's incoming on his phone from your phone on February 22nd, you're saying, I don't know how that happened.
I had looked back in through my call logs and had not.
Well, that's interesting. Who asked you to do? Who asked you to do that? Go through your call logs.
I had heard from other people that he was saying that I reached out to him.
Did you hear specifically he told the police that you did that? Did you read the police report? Let me show you what's been marked as proposed exhibit 5.
5, is it your exhibit?
Yes, defense proposed.
To be
B. Thank you. It is now. Ma'am, that is not anything you can authenticate, as we say in the law, but having looked at that screenshot, 10:43 p.m., a call from your number. Is that your number?
Yes.
And do you admit making that call at 10:43 p.m. to Mr. Clark? Did somebody else at your request? Did you live with Angel Lewis? And she's one of the people here today to testify. And did she make the call to your knowledge? All right, let me have that back if you don't mind.
This is a rough moment for her credibility. She told the judge she never contacted him during her vacation. Then the defense produces a phone record showing a call from her number at 10:43 at night. She backtracks, and it comes out there was contact both ways. In a case built heavily on messages and timelines, getting caught in even one denial can cost a witness a lot of trust.
Then I'm going to go backward and then forward again one last time. Then I'll go in order, I promise. Going backward, you told the judge and you told Mr. Cook that you didn't contact my client during your vacation. Is that true? Didn't you specifically grab your friend's phone, say, hey, this is Peyton, and start communicating with him?
I did not start communicating with him. We had sent that message.
May I object to non-responsive? And
I'll sustain that, and I'll ask you to re-ask your question. Go ahead.
you had told Mr. Cook on direct examination, and you had told Judge Simpson that you did not communicate with my client on vacation. I ask you to repeat that just now as a predicate to the next question, and you confirmed that's true. So then the question was, isn't it true that you grabbed your friend's phone and texted Mr. Clark, this is Peyton, and texted him 2 text messages?
2 text messages, I do not remember. I do remember sending him one saying to stop contacting me.
So you actually did communicate with him, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me tell you if this is accurate, and if you need something to refresh your memory, I will be glad to help you. Isn't it true let me back up and set the stage for this. Did you become acquainted while you were dating with Mr. Clark with the mother of his children, Gwen? Did you become knowing who Gwen was? Just knowing who she was.
Yes, I knew who she was.
And Gwen started to contact you at the beginning of February, correct? And you have no idea how she even got your number, true?
Yeah.
Oh, she reached out to you through other social platforms? Did you want that contact from her? Okay. Gwen had told you, hey, Michael's cheating on you, right? Yes. And that violated your trust, wouldn't you agree? Hurt you deeply. Then Gwen, fast forward to February when you're on vacation or maybe shortly before, she confessed to you that she lied to you. Isn't that true? And Mr. Clark had been maintaining that that was a big lie all the way. He was trying to tell you that she was lying. Isn't that true? And when you texted him from your vacation, you said, look, buddy, he said, I'm paraphrasing, I know. She already told me. And it still doesn't matter. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Words to that effect. Yes? Okay. Remember I said we'll go backward, forward, and then I'll go right to the beginning. Here's the forward. As this case was pending, you became an active participant in it. Would you agree? You wanted to keep informed? Yes? You talked about the lockers at work at HVA. This is not like a male-female locker room, is it? It's like a common area where employees can gather, right? The lockers, maybe they're capable of being locked, I don't know, but they're not locked, are they? And you have left gifts in Mr. Clark's locker, right? Let me show you something that might refresh your memory on that. Let's go to the day before your breakup. February 4. I'm going to show you, this is not marked as an exhibit yet, just something that might refresh your recollection. Just review that whole thing. And the only thing I really want you to focus on is the last page, but I'm trying to make sure the date stamps are all there. Okay, so the reason I handed you all of that, by the way, just for the record, those are screenshots of text messages between you and Mr. Clark, correct? You acknowledge that those are real exchanges between the two of you? They're dated February the 4th, 2026, is that right? And they end with you leaving a present in his locker, right? And you did leave. You said, just as you testified that Mr. Clark said coffee in your locker, you testified to him or texted to him on February 4th, present in your locker. Yes. And you left a present in his locker.
He was actually in the lunchroom and I had taken it after coffee and breakfast. And I had actually brought it into the lunchroom.
From his locker? That's where you left it for him to find. Okay. Speaking of the lockers, you knew which locker was his, obviously, right? In April of this year, back up. In your job, you have access to hazardous materials, right? Sometimes you have to handle them. And when you handle them, there's protocols you have to follow, I'm imagining. And one of those includes putting biohazard stickers on things. Would you agree?
Yes.
Biohazard stickers have fields of information. Would you agree? In April of this year, didn't you take Mr. Clark's name tag off his locker and replace it with a biohazard sticker? Did you witness someone do that? You had direct knowledge of who did that, didn't you, ma'am?
Okay.
You supplied the person who, do you know, did you see it?
Okay.
You're aware of it?
Yes.
It had specific fields of information. Would you agree? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. It had the case number. You didn't supply the case number of this case to anyone? Right down to the digit of what we call the case codes, the SM at the end. It had the next pretrial date, April 20th, 2026. Would you agree?
Yes.
So you know a lot about what's on that sticker, but we'll come back to that. And you didn't tell anyone at work what the next court date was?
Other than the witnesses?
Well, you didn't know who the witnesses were in April of 2026, did you?
I was witness. Actually, so what we had.
No, I'm talking about in putting the sticker on the,
I was not actively active.
who did you provide April 20th, 2026 to?
Other than the people that were here, nobody else.
What about,
That year when?
When we had the pre-trial, I had Angel was with me. Well, they didn't know when that date was because they were here.
so are you familiar with the nickname Tobis?
Yes.
Whose nickname is that? And on that sticker was the name Tobis. Would you agree?
Yes.
I've not shown you a picture of the sticker, but you've just verified everything that's on it. How did you become acquainted with it?
My supervisor asked me if I could knock his locker the next morning.
And what did you say? Speaking of that, by that time, shortly before, HR had concluded their investigation of what happened between you and Mr. Clark. Do you agree? HR determined, and this goes to your state of mind, that not even by a preponderance of evidence, that's the phrase they use, they say, we don't find harassment, correct?
Going to object. I understand why the defense counsel says it's proper, but I still believe that that's hearsay.
So I'm asking what her understanding was toward her state of mind at that time.
I'm going to allow it as to her state for only that purpose of state of mind. Go ahead.
You would receive that information, yes? From HR.
They had not phrased it like that. No.
They said there was no harassment. Would you agree?
They,
You weren't happy with their finding? Okay. And that was before their finding was before April the 8th of 2026?
yes, so.
Did you ever have a discussion?
Even to your state of mind, I'm sorry. What was their finding?
They never gave me like a final list of what they found. They had.
Well, but ma'am, you just said in answer to Mr. Simon's questions, you weren't happy with their conclusion.
They didn't. They never.
Okay, so what was their conclusion to your understanding?
That they weren't gonna do anything about the situation. They were just keeping us separate. They were putting us on different days. So I'm guessing, from what I believe, that they believe he must have done something because they switched both of our schedules around so we wouldn't make contact. And yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Simon. Sorry.
Okay, let's now, one more thing, since she's here today, Angel's your roommate, you told us that, correct? Did you ever have a discussion with Angel about that sticker? I mean, even for purposes of how to answer HR, right? Like, you were going to be talked about it from HR, right? Did you ever say, Angel, are you the person who put that on there? I got to talk to HR. What'd she answer?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not for the communication, Your Honor, not for the substantive truth. I'll ask that of Angel.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll allow the answer. Go ahead.
You asked what again? I'm sorry.
What'd she tell you in response to that question?
Don't remember.
Earnestly, you don't remember, ma'am?
Okay.
I know that anybody that I asked that had done it, that's what that works. They had only something.
What day did you go into HR? to talk about this sticker?
I had never been reached out about the sticker. I had no information on it. The only person I asked about it was my supervisor.
Oh, hold on. I thought you said you had to talk with HR about the sticker.
I talked to my supervisor about the sticker.
Did I mishear that?
I don't think you did, but now you've invited another thought of questions, so.
Right. Did you talk, so we're clear, did you talk with anybody from HR or HVA management about that sticker?
Yes.
Now the defense pivots to something stranger. A biohazard sticker that showed up on Michael's locker with startlingly specific information. The exact case number, the next court date, even a private nickname. She says she never saw it, but she's able to describe every detail on it without hesitation. That contradiction is exactly what the defense wants the judge to notice.
Who did you talk to?
My supervisor, Dave.
What day did you talk to Dave?
It was been the day placed on the locker. He had came and asked me about it. I do not know what day it was placed.
But it was, correct me if I'm wrong, because it was the day after the pretrial date where the date set was April 20th. Is that right?
I don't know when it was placed on his locker.
Okay, but when you talk to your supervisor, it was before the 20th of April, right?
I honestly don't remember when it was.
Go ahead, Mr.
The judge's question invited another set of questions. I didn't mark this as an exhibit, but I am now. I'll bring it to you in a second. But I just need to make sure what the judge asked you at the beginning of that is that I heard it right. You said you never saw the sticker.
Correct.
So I'm now going to approach you what's been marked as defense proposed D as in dog. These are several pictures of the same thing. Can you take a look at that, please? When I ask you questions, you express personal knowledge of the following things. Let me make sure I get there. That the case number was placed on that sticker to the extent that it was the complete case number, including the case codes -SM. And you said you knew that, right? Yes? You see that on that picture there? Okay, we haven't moved to admit it yet because you say you've never seen it before. Did you ever see it since, by the way? Did you have to look at it? I said the date of the next pretrial of April the 20th, 2026 was on there. And that is what you're looking at. Would you agree? I also said that the exact date of the complaint that's alleged here of 2/11/26 is on there. That's on there, isn't it? Also, the nickname, it's Tobis, that's on there. Who provided you the personal knowledge of all those very specific things that was on? He said things like I just said, the case number down to the SM is on there. He said, who's Tobis? He didn't have any idea what Tobis was, did he?
Objection. Speculation. I don't know how she would know what.
He had no conversation with you about Tobis. Would you agree? He had no conversation.
Objection. Go ahead, Mr.
He had no reference point of what 4/20/26 was. Would he, or did he? He didn't ask you. Okay. And didn't tell you that was on there, did he? That's a no, ma'am. You shaking.
Sorry. I believe he did tell me, he told me what was on the sticker. He did tell me that. He did not tell me how he knew what, or it was not on the locker. And
Let's go to the beginning now. I told you we'd eventually, oh, sorry, Your Honor.
Sorry. So your supervisor calls you in to question you about a sticker. And doesn't show you the sticker?
They had already taken it off of his locker.
Okay, I get that. But you're brought in, questioned about this. And nobody shows you anything?
No, I had knew about it from the other people that were there the night previously.
Supervisor's asking you about the sticker. They're asking you, do you know anything about it?
Yes.
They don't show you the sticker.
He had explained what was on it and what was placed on the locker.
And you're meeting with this person face to face. And they don't show you the sticker. Go ahead, Mr. Simon.
I said we'd jump back to the beginning. Let's jump back to the beginning. You told Mr. Cook on direct examination that you had a work friendship with Mr. Clark that blossomed into a romantic relationship. You remember that?
Yes.
And you said that the actual dating part of the relationship was less than 1 month starting in January. Isn't it more accurate to say, ma'am, that you were involved romantically with him as early as late October, early November?
No. It was after November-ish.
Well, that's different than January. So let's start piecing that down. Wouldn't you agree with me that you guys actually started to become closer friends when you and Angel offered to him in September to crash at your place because of his commute to Hillsdale?
Correct.
You guys live in the Ypsi area, correct? And he started doing that right around September, yes?
Yeah.
And eventually what happened was he started to, you had come out of another relationship, right? And you were feeling vulnerable and sad, right?
Yes.
You turned to him for comfort.
Yes.
Isn't it true that sort of in that time frame now, October-ish, you said to him, "Listen, can you sleep with me in my space for cuddles, to cuddle me and comfort me?" Is that true? And then after a while, he started to exclusively stay in your room with you. Is that true?
After November, December time, yeah.
Okay, these when we talk about less than a month, and then we're talking about a span of 3 months, this is something that's important. So let's do our best, okay? Hold on, please. I'm getting there. I'll let you answer, I promise. Just let me frame it. You told Mr. Cook that prior to testifying, you had reviewed the text messages between February 5th and February 12th. You remember that? Yes? And then I don't mean disrespect. How old are you, ma'am?
20.
Okay. In your generation, the primary form of communications is text messaging. Would you agree with that? Did you review your text from November, December before testifying? All right. Maybe I'll have some for you to review. Would you agree that romantically you spent Thanksgiving together? Romantically, in a romantic relationship. Would you agree that you spend Christmas time in a romantic relationship? Okay. Would you agree that
How does the relationship start in January?
So we had not officially gotten together. We were friends up until January. We had been romantic with each other, sexually, yes. But we had not been.
Yes, when?
So just so I can clarify that, yes, that last yes. Sexually, romantically in early November through February 5th. True or false?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sexually romantic. I use the words like from early November through January or February 5th, 2026. Yes? And I said November, which was November 2025. Okay. In fact, on December 19th, maybe as a thing of Christmas shopping, you were in a Barnes and Noble and saw a coworker. Is that right? Jojo? Do you remember telling Mr. Clark on a text message, hey, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. I just ran into somebody and he said, you're Clark's girlfriend, aren't you? And you responded, yes. And again, ma'am, I'm going to give you sort of a stack of things, but the stack isn't relevant. It's just to get the dates correctly. And I'm going to, sorry. Here's the.
I have just a second to look through. This is the first time seeing these documents.
Are there a lot of them or?
So, Your Honor, in order to make sure the dates stay sequenced so you can't manipulate that, I've put a lot in there. There's only a very short of is the relevant part. I just put the string in there to show that the dates weren't manipulated.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take about 15-minute recess, come back at 1:45. We'll
Thank you.
may step down me. Court's in recess.
And the sequestration order remains in effect.
Yes, sequestration remains in effect.
And we'll make sure they're not talking.
Right as the defense starts unraveling the timeline of when this relationship actually began, the court takes a recess. It's a natural pause, but it's also the exact spot where the story she told police a relationship of less than a month is about to run into a stack of text messages that says otherwise.
14A, this is Portland County, watching out there. This second session, yeah.
May be seated. And if you can please come back up and stand.
In here, I don't care.
And before you begin again, Mr. Simon, I just remind you that you're still under oath. Thank you. And Mr. Goldstein and Ms. Rosmirsky, I will take care of you once we've finished. Get you guys.
You want, if Your Honor, I don't mind if you, whatever you,
No, I don't really want to talk.
I want to help him. Okay.
There, and I don't know what's going to happen to me. Okay.
All right. Hey, Peyton, we were on the topic of the status of your relationship with Michael, and I specifically, wrongfully, by the way, I've learned, asked you about an incident on December 19. Is it true that while at work, JoJo approached you about running into Michael at Barnes & Noble? And he asked you, you're his girlfriend, right? Yes? And you confirmed that. Oh, okay.
I did say.
Okay, on December 19th. Okay. So, and
We're not technically boyfriend and girlfriend because that's what you didn't call each other. Okay, but you were involved at that time in a romantic relationship, a sexually romantic relationship. Thank you.
and that started in the beginning of November of 2025. That status. Okay.
Thank you.
Here's the detail that undercuts her timeline the most. A coworker ran into Michael in December, called her his girlfriend, and she confirmed it 2 full months before the date she told police the relationship even started. If the timeline she gave police was off by that much, it raises real questions about how the rest of her account holds up.
Now, when you spoke to the police on the 22nd of February, you were mindful to volunteer that piece of information repeatedly. Here's what I mean specifically. We were only together less than a month. It was less than a month. You said that to them 2, 3, 4 times. Would you agree? You said that to them kind of spontaneously, right? I mean, like just the filler to kind of document why Mr. Clark was reacting the way he was about the breakup. Would you agree with that? Like, boy, look how bizarre he's being. We were only together less than a month.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
You never told the police that you were sexually romantically involved since the beginning of November. True?
Yes.
The status of your relationship with Mr. Clark, in fact, was very solid up to the date of February 4 when you left that present in his locker. Would you agree? Would you be surprised? Tell me if you remember on the February 2nd and February 3rd. I miss you. I miss you more. Nobody, it's impossible. I can only miss you more. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you? That was the status of your text messaging on the 2nd and the 3rd of February. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, if you like, I can refresh your recollection, but having.
No, I don't need it.
Okay. And then on the 4th, that's when Gwen reached out. Yes? You were working together at that time, you and Mr. Clark. You were on the same shift. And you started to get withdrawn, right? Or, I'm sorry, I said text again. I'm just not of your generation. Some other means of electronic. Okay. How did you come about the information?
She had that.
Okay, thank you. And then while working together on the 4th, you became withdrawn. You were not happy. You were sad. Is that true? Finally, and I'm speeding through this. Finally, he was asking you what's the matter with you. Are you okay? What's wrong? And you finally spilled the beans. You've been cheating on me, or worse to that effect. True? He denied it immediately, right? And he begged you not to trust Gwen as a source of information, right? And you expressed, to Mr. Clark, you know how essential trust is to me, and now my trust is gone in you. Okay.
Does Angel know Gwen?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
You got to make counsel or push really fast. It's relevant to that question.
Sure.
Would you agree with me that the duration of your relationship wasn't the only subject matter that you told the police on February 22nd that seemed weird or out of order, or in your words, creepy about Mr. Clark? Did you say specifically that he was sending you gifts and repeatedly? But you knew full well that because you were going to be gone on Valentine's Day, that he'd ordered gifts ahead of time for you to be delivered. He told you so, true?
He told me after we had broken up.
Right. On February 7th, in a text message contained in the exhibit that I'm going to return you,
Should still be able to.
I have.
People's One. In February 7th, he said, as you were going dialoguing, look, I got you a lot of stuff. Please, I don't want it to go to waste, or worse to that effect. Would you agree? Yeah, you have no reason to believe he sent you things after that, do you? Well, but when you told it to the police, you didn't quite tell it that way, did you?
I told. He said he was going to be sending.
Isn't it more accurate to say you told the police he's sending things to my house, like present day? Yeah. And also, you told the police things like this. Before we started dating, you know what he did? You used the word creepy, kind of creepy. He got himself onto my shift, right? You told them that?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You said to the police that Mr. Clark, prior to you dating, worked it out so that he could work the same shift as you.
I don't remember.
Let me see if I can refresh your recollection with the video. You sat down with the police at the HVA conference room?
Yes.
You were aware that you had body cam and they were activated?
Yes.
And I think I'm plugged in. Oh, I'm not plugged in. I'm still in. I'm going to show you what's timestamped at 1790. body cam.
Just so that way I'm clear, is this being admitted as an exhibit or is this just for refreshing her recollection?
No, we can, I certainly would not object to the whole thing coming in, but right now it's for refreshing recollection.
Okay.
So we're working on one together. Because he was suspicious. But he was.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Okay. But no, I just figured it. So. But it would just be like off. Sure.
Here's what you told the police, see if you'll agree with. Told them that he caused the shift onto your schedule, to your shift. True?
Yes, it's switched with a different C-lister.
Okay. Just yes. You told the police that you couldn't do anything about that because you were a D-lister.
Yes.
And you even added, I had, meaning yourself, had no control over that, right? And you told the police in addition that that was before you started dating. Again, staying on theme with the police that you weren't dating at that time. Would you agree with me that in fact, on November 10th, 2025, you're the person who caused the shift to be on the same schedule? Can I ask you to please review some text messages in just a second?
Who's just handing back?
Okay. Oh, we already looked at them. If I just review these, again, more information than is necessary, but it's because of dates. Let me just take a big. You caused the shift, didn't you, ma'am? You asked a friend of yours to shift so that you could be on the same shift with Michael. Isn't that true?
For to switch, that was not, it had nothing to do with the ID for Florida's number. To, if they wanted to switch ship it.
You asked her to do it.
I asked her if she would at the time, but I didn't ask her, so I have no control over it.
You have no control that she would do it, but you desired it and you asked her to do it, right?
I asked her according on his behalf. Yes.
You bragged to him, look, people love me. I got it done, right?
I said, I have a little poll with people because people like me at the company. Yes.
I have a little poll, meaning I got it done. You, the D-lister. He didn't control this. Well, if he did, why did he need your help? Didn't he say in that same exchange that...
Which was the other person?
You think the police think that he had authority to do it as a C-lister?
I told them that he was able to switch on to my shift, but that we have no control of that.
You wanted to be on the same shift, didn't you, ma'am?
Yes.
Because you were romantically involved, yes?
Yes.
And you enjoyed being together.
Yeah.
And actually, you were quite a good duo at work, weren't you?
Yes.
You complimented each other at work.
Yeah.
In fact, on November 21st, he had an opportunity to shift to a different thing, something called an ALS. Or is it AIS? Yeah. And what is that, by the way? He had informed you that he had that opportunity. Would you agree? And that would have caused you to not work together on the same shift. He also informed you that he turned that down because it wouldn't line up with his schedule seeing his children. Do you agree? And you expressed, oh, thank goodness, or words to that effect, because you wanted to stay on the same shift.
This detail cuts against the stalking narrative directly. Michael had a chance to move to a different shift in November and turned it down specifically so he could keep seeing his kids on his existing schedule. The defense wants the judge to notice a person allegedly manipulating his way onto her shift also walked away from a real opportunity to leave it.
Okay. The, turning now to the 5th of February, would you agree that from the 4th of February, when you learned this information through Angel from Gwen, through the 5th, there were some phone calls between you and Mr. Clark, FaceTime, a lengthy hour and a half or more FaceTime with Mr. Clark, leading up to your February 5th long text breaking up. Would you agree with that? Would you also confirm that in one of those communication forms, you said to him words close to exactly this: you can continue to try to fight for this, but I won't be. Okay. You also asked for some space, right? So from February 5th, when you asked for space, to February 7th, there was no communication between you, was there? The, on February 7th, after work shifts, he came up to you while you were seated in your car in the parking lot. True? Knocked on the window and said, "Can I talk to you?" Yes. You got out of the car? Yes. You had a talk. And in that talk, you had said, you know, I'm not really interested in, words to this effect, man, this is not exact. I'm not interested in your denials, my trust violated, you know, move on, or things like that. Would you agree? He followed that up with a text message saying essentially, and it's in front of you, so you can say, "Mr. Simon, you don't have it right." Essentially, hey, look, sorry, I don't mean to crowd you, or words to that effect. This is just so hard, and that kind of. Would you agree?
Yeah.
In addition, there was an arrangement to get his belongings that you began to discuss with him. True?
Yeah.
He had belongings at your home. I mean, he has children and had to go back and maintain his residence in Hillsdale, but when he wasn't there, he was basically living with you. So you started talking about possible times and you started to discuss February 12th as a probable date. Okay? And arrangements were going to be made as to how that was going to take place. Would you agree? So, on February 7th, just to be abundantly clear, he never chased you down to your car, did he?
He followed me. I was like,
Well, he came up to your car and knocked on the window, right?
yes.
Okay. You didn't really know how he got there, but you just saw him at the window knocking. Okay. The next contact that you had was a text from him on the 8th saying, "Will Thursday the 12th be acceptable for me to get my belongings?" And you replied, "That's fine." Excuse me, "That's fine." And he said, "Thanks for the reply, means a lot."
Yeah.
That's part of Exhibit 1, People's 1. Yes?
Yeah.
And that was the only communication on February 8th. Would you agree? On February 9th, and again, paraphrasing, so if you say it's not fair, Mr. Simon, you fill in the blanks, okay? That you have every right to do that. He wrote a long diatribe. I mean, like laying it all out there, essentially saying, I want to fight for this. I love you. And Gwen can't be trusted, and just a long pouring his heart out kind of message. Would you agree? In that, you said to him, "I don't want to talk to you or have a conversation about any of this." Would you agree? You added, "There's nothing else to talk about. I don't trust you anymore. You lied to me when we talked about it." Okay. In other words, you weren't buying what he was selling. Okay. You You said in that string that you were going to tell him again, you used the word again, to not talk to you or that kind of thing, right? And in the end of that string, he said, wait a minute, you told me, again, words to this effect, I could fight for this and you wouldn't, right? And you went on to explain what that meant. You said, when I said you could try and I wouldn't, that meant I'm not trying to reconcile this. And no matter what you do from now, there will be no second chances. Agree? And you said, that is all I have to say. Please leave me to here. Please leave me alone. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And he wrote back, I didn't understand that that's what you meant by you could try. True? The next contact was on the February 10th, a single contact, a message to you. I hope you're doing all right and have a great day. I miss you. No more contact on the 10th. Correct? Now, I'm going to skip over the 11th and come right back to the 11th. On February 12th, Mr. Cook asked you about contact with that he continued to contact you. This was the arranged date for him to get his belongings, weren't you? Would you agree? And he was merely inquiring as to the key, right? Where's the key? I need the key.
The long messages that he had sent me, I'm grateful him to get stop texting me. He did end up saying that he was asking for his house key.
Yeah, let's go back to where I'm asking you. On February the 12th, the only exchange he had to you on February the 12th was about the key and getting his belongings. All right.
He had sent multiple different messages after, during the 12th.
About getting his belongings, and you were replying to them.
There were, I have to count how many messages.
I don't.
Your microphone, Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon?
Yes.
The microphone.
Yes.
Just to make sure.
Geez. What she said? Whatever. All right. What's in the exhibit is what you're referring to. We'll just let the exhibit stand. Okay. I told you we're going to come back to the 11th, and I promise we will. On February 12th, you testified you blocked him. Is that right? You know a lot more about phones than me, but tell me if I'm right. If you block a person, they don't know it on the other side. They don't get a notification, do they? And if you block a person, that means they can't reach you. Is that true? Tell me, is this true? For you to call someone that you've blocked, do you have to unblock them? You can call them anyway.
You can call people that you've blocked, yes.
Okay. Could you message people that you've blocked?
I don't believe they would go through.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. In addition to blocking him on February 12th, you also stopped sharing your location with him on February 12th. So through February 12th, you were sharing your location with him. So when you were talking earlier about your state of mind, being scared and all that kind of thing, you were still sharing with him through February 12th.
Remember vividly sharing my location, also my message location.
Let me approach you with, this actually comes from the original police report. It's part of it. It's the same thing you have. Let me see if you can take a look at this.
Yes.
Yeah, except that's, it's not, I don't know if it's still there. Yeah, okay. All right. So part of the exhibit shows that you stopped sharing your location on February 12th, right?
Yes.
And none of the other part of the exhibit shows that, like from February 5th through up to that date.
This is the closing gut punch of the cross-examination. She testified she was scared for her safety after February 11th, but the record shows she kept sharing her live location with him all the way through February 12th. If someone genuinely fears a person, continuing to let them see exactly where you are is the detail a judge is going to sit with.